Hello and welcome, neighbor from the American Falls School District. Our district is launching an initiative to support the neighbors in our community that are living in the crisis of poverty. Dr. Donna Beagle, a champion of poverty, has created the Opportunity Community Program, which I will be sharing with you today. Who is Donna Beagle? Donna was born into generational poverty, meaning her parents and grandparents were migrant workers that worked all day, every day, but still never had enough money. Although we worked hard, she said, doing migrant labor work and temporary minimum wage jobs, we were constantly being evicted, going hungry, and struggling with poverty. She dropped out of high school at 15 years old to get married. He came from a similar background. He too was young, just 17 years old. Together, they lied about their ages in order to maintain minimum wage jobs to provide for their lives. She became pregnant at 2 years later, but her premature baby did not survive. Donna did not have access to prenatal care. During her second pregnancy, she lied in order to obtain medical benefits through the government. This baby, a little girl, survived with the help of medical professionals. Donna shares, by the age of 22, I had been through 4 pregnancies and had 2 living children. We still had no health care and suffered from poor nutrition. Many nights, our dinner was a spoonful of peanut butter. Donna knows loss. She knows pain. After 10 years of marriage, he left, and she was abandoned to care for her only 2 living children. Even though she could qualify for government assistance as a single mother, she found herself making the choice between food and utilities. She worked hard, but it was not enough. Her lights were turned off, and she was about to be evicted with her children, which meant she was at risk of losing her children to child services. She decided to go to a community action agency for help. At the agency, she was told about a pilot program, Women in Transition, or WIT, that was connected to Mount Hood Community College in Oregon. This program was a long-term program to give women a lift out of poverty through education. The WIT staff stuck with Donna for years. There she learned that she had value to offer the world. Her true emergence from poverty began with her GED. Members of the WIT staff helped her establish relationships and connected her with resources. Donna says that graduating with her GED was a huge moment for her family and herself. She says, I remember thinking the GED wasn't so bad, that maybe I could get a 2-year degree and then I could take even better care of my children. So she took courage and decided to pursue higher education. Donna went back to the Community Action Agency and they connected her with the financial aid office at the community college. Between funding from the school and support from the WIT staff, she completed her 2-year degree. She had family support too. Her brother, imprisoned at the time, coached her through learning the second language of the middle class world. During her time at the community college, she went to a college fair. There, a kind and generous professor offered to waive the application fee if Donna wanted to apply to the University of Portland. She says at this time, the primary supports that kept me moving forward in the educational system were the safety of having my housing needs met through Section 8 public housing certificates, the continued support of my family, and having mentors from the WIT program and the MHCC who believed in me and encouraged me. The support did not stop at the WIT office, but other professors took her in and coached her through not only her bachelor's degree, but her master's and eventually a doctorate degree. They taught her the second language of middle class. They taught her culture and customs. They taught her how to be successful. They believed in her. Donna broke the cycle. Inspired by her example, many of her family members have escaped the iron cage of poverty as well. 2 of her brothers have bachelor's degrees. Her children are following in her footsteps, and many of her cousins, nieces, and nephews are as well. She supports and connects those who are still in poverty to resources as their #1 cheerleader. Donna went from illiterate and uneducated to a renowned scholar, inspirational leader, and president of a company. She did it. She escaped poverty with support and education. The Opportunity Community Program has 2 major players: the neighbors, or those living in the crisis of poverty, and the Navigators. That's you. It is important to recognize that furthering education is difficult to do when you're worrying about what to feed your children, clothes for them to wear, and paying bills. Through the Opportunity Community Program, your role is to connect our neighbors to resources that will help them meet those needs, which in turn will give them a stepping stone to further their education and eventually increase their prosperity. By supporting the families within our school district, we support our students' education. Now, have you ever found yourself in a new culture where you do not understand the language, the people, the customs, or even the dinner menu? Well, in Italy, they kiss each other on both cheeks as a form of greeting. In China, people often take off their shoes when they enter a house and burp as a sign of gratitude and satisfaction after a meal. In Mexico, rather than blowing out birthday candles, they will shove a cake into the birthday boy's face. In New Zealand, Maori warriors perform a warrior dance that can be pretty intimidating to the unexpected tourist. Now imagine feeling illiterate, unimportant, and belittled in your own community. Donna refers to herself as bilingual. Her second language is middle class English. She felt all of these emotions here in America in her own country. In her own city, she spoke English, but not the middle class English that was expected of a college student. One of her professors took her under his wing and taught her how to be bilingual. He taught her that she had value. He showed her the ropes. He navigated her through the middle class world until she could do it herself. And that is your role. Now, first, I'd like to break some myths before we move further in our presentation. Myth number 1: poverty is solely a minority issue. This is false. While 25% of those in poverty are Black and 22% are Hispanic, Donna shares that in total numbers, it's important to note that the majority of people in poverty are white. Myth number 2: government assistance is adequate to the extent that it encourages independence. The average welfare check is only $478 a month. That is not very much money. You don't get rich off of welfare. You don't get rich by having babies on welfare either. You only get $60 a child. For those of you who have children, that's barely enough for diapers. While there are assistance programs, it is simply not enough to transition someone from poverty to prosperity alone. Myth number 3: social mobility is easily achievable. False. This is simply false. Donna's a perfect example. While her family worked hard for generations, they remained in poverty. Unfortunately, 2/3 of people living in poverty are working an average of 1.7 jobs. There is a common thought in America that if you work hard enough, you can become anything you want. However, not everyone has the same opportunities and support to be able to achieve the American dream, even if they work 3 jobs. Myth number 4: education is readily available and accessible to all people. While the ages vary by state, it is legally mandated for children to receive a public education. However, according to Donna, obtaining a college education is a major avenue for overcoming poverty and escaping its hardships. Higher education is not free, it's quite expensive. Those that are in poverty often do not know how to obtain financial aid either. Donna was absolutely floored when she qualified for a grant and scholarship to attend school. She was fortunate to have someone care enough to take the time to show her the ropes of the middle class world. She states over and over again that she was one of the lucky few. Myth number 5: people are in poverty because they use their money on drugs and alcohol. This is probably the most false of all the myths. Drugs and alcohol are not biased towards the poor. They penetrate all socioeconomic boundaries. Lindsay Lohan, Mary-Kate and Ashley, and the famous Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., to name a few, are among the numerous celebrities that have struggled with substance abuse. The list could go on and on. As you embark on your journey in aiding people out of the crisis of poverty, it is vital that you educate yourself in Poverty 101. As part of your education, it's important to get to know these people. Know what they enjoy. Know what they do every day. Find the skills that they have. They are capable, they are valuable, and they have contributions ready for the world. But our world in American Falls needs to be ready for them. Find out what they like to do. Do they like to cook? Do they like to sew, clean, organize, play with animals, use their hands, work as a mechanic or a plumber? Maybe somebody's tech savvy. They have skills. They're worth it. Upon joining the program, you'll be connected with a neighbor, and your role will be their navigator. Navigators are trained to understand different experiences of poverty. They are committed to help neighbors access resources in our area and support them in moving out and staying out of poverty. Escaping poverty is not easy, but we are here to encourage our neighbors every step of the way. Some common roles of navigators are to provide rides, help fill out paperwork, and connect our neighbors to specialists. You're essentially their handy helper. In addition to navigators, there are specialty navigators, and these community members work in places such as hospitals, housing agencies, courts, colleges. If you're a specialty navigator, you've already agreed to take and return calls from navigators and assist them on how to support our neighbors. Specialty navigators within the community have offered to come to the district office each week and offer free classes to our district families. Regardless of what kind of navigator you are, you should be aware of these resources available at the district office. So please feel free to pause the video, take a screenshot of these, and be ready to share them with our neighbors. Plans are also in the making to offer free evening classes in Excel, Word, PowerPoint, self-reliance, and budgeting. These are also offered in Spanish. Lastly, we have super navigators. If you're a super navigator, you have personal experience with poverty. You have gotten out of poverty and you know firsthand the challenges associated with it. You'll be working with personal navigators to learn how best to support and educate our neighbors on the realities of poverty. Regardless of what kind of navigator you are, it is the most important thing that you can do to educate yourself. You must meet the people where they are, and the only way to do that is through education. Beyond getting to know your neighbor, it is vital that you learn about the harsh realities of poverty. You could start with Donna Beagle's book, See Poverty, Be the Difference. She not only shares her personal story, but how best to connect with those in poverty. We love our students. We want them to be successful. We believe that in order to help them, we must help their families. As we strengthen the families of our town, our students' lives will be enhanced and our community will be stronger. Donna Beagle is a success story that has changed generations for good, and you have that power to change someone else's story. We believe in you. We want you to be successful. We are on your team. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you.